Hi, everybody. Welcome back to today's edition of VCTV with your host, Kyle Ellicott. Today, we're going to be talking about a very interesting subject from the venture capital community, and that's why do some great ideas fail to fundraise or raise a ton of venture capital, but fail to execute. And so this is one of the topics we want to talk about as investors and also as entrepreneurs as well, and kind of give that full picture story, because there are a lot of great ideas, but fundraising is a difficult and long journey as well. And it's good to figure out a little bit of those tips and tricks on how to survive it and thrive in it as well. But with that being said, I'm joined by some outstanding co-hosts from around the world as investors to share their thoughts and insights on today's topic. And before we introduce each and every one of them, along with a special guest who will be sharing what they're building in the non-fungible token space as well, I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to the Token team and to Maria and Hasmik for making today's episode and all episodes here at VCTV possible as well. If you haven't done so already, do check us out on letoken.com to hear from today's speakers and all speakers of the VCTV family as well. And with that being said, let's go ahead and introduce today's co-host. Jason, kick us off, a little intro, a little background for everybody and your special event.
Great, happy to be here. Thank you again for inviting me back. My name is Jason Jacobsohn, managing partner with Propellant Ventures. We're all about bold investing in companies, investing in companies powering the future. We are very focused on pre-seed and early seed companies based in the Midwest part of the U.S. and industries we like are health tech, fintech, ed tech, supply chain, and future work. Personally, I've been involved in the entrepreneurial and investment ecosystem for 20 years. And been on the front line supporting and building some of the programs to support entrepreneurs throughout the Midwest. Also run the Founder Institute chapter in Chicago. It's a pre-seed technology accelerator in 220 markets around the world. So very active, hands-on in the ecosystem. So launched the fund last year, and we've made 3 investments, making a 4th one pretty soon. We also do monthly discussions for mostly investors and some entrepreneurs, and Kyle alluded to one of the events we have this afternoon. We have one on NFTs or non-fungible tokens. So we can post the link in the chat for those that want to join us. It's mostly investors. We have some entrepreneurs. So happy to have you join us and glad to be here as always.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jason. We're happy to have you. And next up, Vandana, welcome back to the show. A little intro, a little background for everybody.
So first of all, thank you to the entire team of Latoken, Hasmik, Maria, Abhivek, Kyle for having me here. It takes a lot of efforts to create these kind of shows, and my heartfelt thank you to Latoken TV for having me here. Coming to the introduction, I had my own family office in Singapore and Jakarta. I worked as an investment banker and advisor to family offices and angel investors in Jakarta and Indonesia. Helping startups from a diverse background from fintech and B2B tech all the way to consumer startups. I was raising funds for them and providing them with a range of services just as Convanto does today. And after 15 years of staying in Singapore and Jakarta, I came back to India. I did investments for a bit and then returned to advisory. That is when Convanto was founded, and today Convanto is one of the most well-known boutique investment banks in India led by a female founder. Today, I'm also a venture advisor with Loyal VC, the INSEAD-led Canadian VC fund, having a core portfolio of over 160 investments in more than 35 countries. I'm also a partner with GST Venture Studios, a Silicon Valley-based venture builder. Over the years, I've arranged funding for startups and growth stage companies in diverse sectors like edutech, fintech, consumer B2C and B2B, agri-tech, health tech, food tech, disruptive and deep tech, as well as non-tech sectors. I would recommend all of you to please do have a look at my website for the wonderful testimonials written by my clients. This month, I've been nominated as one of the top 10 women leaders in Wealth Management 2021, and my expert opinion is often sought by leading business news channels and publications like VCTV, Business World. I've participated in 155 talks all over the world. You can easily see them on YouTube and VCTV streaming sites. I'm connected with 300 plus investors globally, and I pick up global deals. We are sector agnostic, and typically we do $1 million to $25 million. And once again, thank you for having me here.
Thank you very much, Vandana. Pleasure as always. And Wendy Diamond, you're up next. A little intro, a little background for everybody.
Thank you for having me again, and everybody. Woo! I'm Wendy Diamond. I'm a founder of many startups, some which have not done so well. So excited about this topic, because I think it's very important. And I'm a limited partner in 4 funds focused on blockchain, cryptocurrency, as well as one fund that is focused on cell agriculture and plant-based and anything vegan related, right? Aquaculture as well. I'm also an angel investor and invested in 20 startups, and I do about 3 to 4 investments a year. And I also am the founder of Women's Entrepreneurship Day Organization, which is an official day in 144 countries that is recognized by U.S. government in the United States on November 19th, and to bring government, business leaders, and civil society together to collaborate to find solutions to uplift women in business. Because women founders only get 2% of venture dollars. So we got to bring that number up. So anyways, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Wendy, as always. And lastly, Devang, a little intro, a little background for everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Thank you, Latoken, for this event. As usual, I am Devang Mehta. I am a partner at Anthill Ventures. We are a speed scaling ecosystem. We invest in and scale early stage companies at pre-Series A and Series A. We work out of India and Singapore. And I handle the healthcare investments. We typically focused on oncology is a prime area of focus. So early detection, genomics, CRISPR, deep tech, AI, ML models to study and preempt diseases is a sweet spot. But we look at many other areas, most notably gut microbiome and things like that. I work out of here in Mumbai, and I'm glad to be back.
And we're glad to have you as well. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining today. And as I mentioned, we do have a very exciting entrepreneur who wants to share a little bit more of what he's building, and along with his team in the NFT space. So we're going to have NFT Swaps pitch for us and share what they're building in the space and non-fungible tokens. They'll have 5 minutes to present. Each of us will listen, and then we'll comment afterwards with any questions or feedback as well. And then we'll jump right into our conversation about, again, fundraising and why those great ideas, some may not reach those fundraising milestones that they set out for themselves. And with that being said, NFT Swaps, I'm going to turn it over to you. You have 5 minutes on the clock. The time is yours. Your presentation is shared.
All right. So thank you, everyone, for having me. Thank you, Latoken team, for having me. I am Ogushola Gideon, a co-founder from NFTswaps.io. And I am this is going to be the second pitch I'm going to be doing. My first pitch was with the Blockchain Gaming Alliance. So a short introduction about myself. I am a co-founder at NFT Swaps. I got into the crypto space some few years ago, and I'm a graduate of electrical engineering, fluent in some programming languages, and I'm very interested in blockchain, NFTs, DeFi, and cybersecurity. So Blockchain for Africa actually is working on 2 projects in the NFT space. That is Blockchain for Africa Limited was registered by some of our directors, and we are working on 2 NFT projects. We have the NFT Swaps and the NFT Spots. Before I start with the what we do, I would quickly just go through what are NFTs. Like we all know, NFTs are non-divisible assets. They are very useful in several sectors. They are unique assets, not divisible. For example, you have houses, cars. My car is different from your car because we have different plate numbers. They are very useful assets because you could use NFTs in several sectors. From health sectors, to gaming, to entertainment and the rest. So, and it's a social contract, from the creator to its community. So, right, what is the problem NFT Swaps is trying to solve? We have this general problem of poor adoption of NFTs. Poor adoption of NFTs. You have there are two causes to the poor adoption of NFTs. You see situation whereby people aren't interested in buying NFTs, or people that have NFTs aren't interested in people that have NFTs aren't seeing someone who is interested in buying them. So the adoption problem, the adoption is caused by two problems. You could look at it from the angle of liquidity, and you can look at it from the angle of price discovery. This when you talk about NFT liquidity, it's unlike it's unlike the DeFi liquidity space, whereby it's already very easy for the DeFi liquidity seeker to find a reputable liquidity provider. In the DeFi liquidity, it's already easy to program stuff around DeFi liquidity. Unlike NFTs, it's very difficult. And price discovery, it is the price. It's very difficult also to NFT holders, sellers, find it very difficult to you auction out NFTs. You are not sure of what the bids you are going to receive for them are. So what solution are we offering? We are offering two solutions. We have the NFT swaps, which I am going to be pitching today. Probably another day I will join in to pitch the second platform. So basically, the whole idea is to increase the adoption of NFTs. So NFT swaps is a non-fungible NFT swap is an NFT to fungible DEX that allows users swaps their NFT to fungible equivalent, else enabling them to fractionalize those NFTs. So basically, I have NFTs, and whether or not someone is interested in buying or selling them, I could convert those NFTs to fungible equivalent, that is ERC20 in case of Ethereum and BEP20 in case of Binance Smart Chain. So basically, what we are trying to do is enable the NFTs to be divisible by converting them to fungible tokens. Because of fungible tokens have this precision, so you could always divide them into decimals. So basically, NFT swaps is enabling someone with a BattleBet NFT to be able to sell those NFTs in parts, in pieces, right? I hope I explained that right. So basically, the version 1 V101 platform, NFT swap V101 platform, it's a non-fungible to fungible swap platform. You can tokenize NFTs. It's a permissionless platform, right? The only condition to list an NFT on NFT swaps is that you have to be the NFT contract creator, and yet it's also a multi-chain platform, right? How it works. So basically, I could take you through how it works. So there are two scenarios. So we have the case one where James has BattleBet NFTs, while nobody is interested in buying it from him in any auction marketplace like Bounce or Binance Marketplace. So you could just head over to NFT swaps, convert those BattleBet NFTs to BetX tokens, right? Now you could now those BetX tokens, you could now either provide liquidity, or you could sell them to BNB if you want to cash out the NFTs basically. So that's in the case of the first case. And in the second case, you want BattleBet NFTs but you have BNB, you could also convert BNB to BetX, which is the token, the fungible equivalent of BattleBet NFTs, and then you can now trade them for NFTs. But the major drawback here is that the contract randomly picks an NFT from the pool for you. And why use NFT swaps? Of course, you will get better prices because now there's now there's now a way of getting, there's better price appraisal mechanisms, more liquidity. You could tokenize your NFTs and you could sell them faster. There's no waiting auction time and the rest. And the NFT market is an undervalued market. According to CoinGecko, the NFT dominance is currently at 1.1%. So there's still room for the NFT markets to grow. We have other people doing the same thing, like we have NFT20.io, NFTX.org, and unique.ly. Quickly, then the NFT Swaps native token is Swaps token. It's just 2.8 million, 200,000 already bought and has a precision of 18. Now we also have, to market the platform, we are going to be launching the platform with the SwapSox NFTs. So we told, swaps holders to lock up their swaps, right? So there was 1,897 people, addresses, who are going to be eligible to mint SwapSox. There are 10 rare SwapSox, which we are going to be locking up in the NFT swaps asset pool liquidity, in the NFT swaps asset pool with 190 other normal stocks. So you probably have to, if you have normal stocks, you probably have to come to the platform, do a game of chance to get any of the 10 red stocks. I would love to see who gets it. And then SoxX, right? SoxX token is the token representation of SwapSox NFTs on NFT Swap. So basically, we are guaranteed that if you would bring one SoxX, you will always get one SwapSox from the pool. The contract will randomly pick one. Then the platform fees and revenue stream, we charge 1%. So now, unlike, while we are different from other competitors, unlike NFT20, NFTX, when you convert those NFTs to fungible tokens, you would have to go to the exchanges, that is the AMM, the automated market makers, to sell them. With NFT swaps, you wouldn't have to leave a UI, but you would do that. You wouldn't leave a UI, but at an extra cost, actually. So from the platform, you could trade across several AMMs who are looking to integrate, Pancake Swap and Bakery Swap. So basically, you don't need to leave the platform. Once you've converted the NFTs to the fungible tokens, you could just, on the interface, on the UI, convert straight to BNB. So 80% of those platform fees is used to buy back and bond swap. 100% actually, but 20% is held as the platform revenue. So we have NFT swaps, we have the tractions and milestones. What are the other things we'll do in the future? Claiming NFT votes. The NFT Spot is a launch pad for NFTs. It is a platform that allows you to mint, and discover NFTs, right? And also simultaneously creating liquidity. So it is built on top of NFT swap. So there are many other things we could build on top of NFT swap, because we are enabling the programmability of NFT liquidity. So we could build these NFT indexes. We could build what else could we build on this? The loans. You could do loans with NFTs, right? And a lot of other stuffs like that. So
got it.
Right. So I'm going to be pitching, the NFT Spot separately. We have some other stuff, Spotlight for artists and the rest. So you could contact us through any of this. I think I'm done with the pitching.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yep. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and bring us all back here real quick. So Jason, any quick questions or feedback for the NFT Swaps team?
Yeah, how are you offering a marketplace? I'm just wondering, are there any security regulations around that? I know with SEC, at least here in the U.S., I wasn't quite clear. I think you're mining and offering NFTs, and so I'm just wondering what the regulations are around what you're doing, if there are any.
Yes, the regulations around fractionalized. Well, the sector NFT swaps is working in is the fractionalized NFTs sector, right? And I have been watching several videos on the legality. There has been no clear legal, how do I put the policies for or against fractionalized NFTs, right?
Okay.
Got it. Thank you. Vandana, any comments or feedback?
No, the presentation was really good. So actually, this is not my sector, so I won't be able to comment much. But wonderful presentation, and I wish you good luck for your fundraise.
Thank you very much. Wendy, what about yourself? I know you play a lot in the blockchain space more properly. Any comments or thoughts around this NFT swaps project? Oh, Wendy, my apologies. You are muted. That's my fault. 1 second.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations. I love the sector. I think that what you're doing is a massive undertaking. I saw on the team page, it was only you, who do you have around you that's going to enable you to create these partnerships, bring on the people, because what you're doing is to do what you really need to have an amazing team around you and also really guide you, because there's a lot of other things that are in place that you're going to need to make this a reality.
All right. Yes, we are working with. We are we're a team of 6, 7, thereabouts, and from all around the world. We have the developers, the local ones that work, from Nigeria, and we have the remote blockchain developers, right? And we've actually achieved some milestones. I have been in the space for quite a while, for about 4 or 5 years. I've worked on Tron Scratch, a gaming dApp, and with Sesma Seed, the big SR of Tron. And yes, we were able to do a community raise on our own. Yes, our volume went as high as 7 million. Pancake swap listing. I've contacted a lot of YouTubers. I myself, I was a YouTuber before, because I've been in the space for almost 5 years, right from the time of master nodes. And yes, I think I have a lot of connections, right, and teammates who are experienced, actually, right.
Great. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And then lastly, Devang, any thoughts or comments or feedback for NFT swaps as well? Oh, Devang, you're on mute as well. There you go. You're back.
Okay. Thanks. So just as Vandana mentioned, similar for us, it's not exactly part of the thesis, the investment or scaling thesis, but it seems like you're onto something something unique, and I think execution is key, and I wish you the best.
Thank you very much, everyone. So NFT swaps, again, appreciate it. Thank you very much for sharing your project, and make sure that all investors are connected with you and the team after today's presentation. I'm going to go ahead and remove you from today's panel, but again, we'll make sure you get connected with everybody. Thank you as well, and you can continue to chat with investors that are here on today's panel. So everyone, welcome back, and now want to jump into why great ideas fail to fundraise, the topic of today's discussion. And would love to hear each of your thoughts on this, as there's plenty of reasons, and sometimes there's ways to avoid that as well. So Jason, why don't you kick us off from your viewpoint, from some of your history of working with companies and raising venture. Why do some great ideas just not make it to the fundraising milestones that they set out?
Well, as you mentioned, there are a lot of reasons. So we'll start, one is execution, of course. If they're not able to execute to hit some of those milestones, investors, will probably not be interested. But I even say before that is we have the right team as well, the right team that can execute. If you don't have good team members, good chance you may not be able to get it to where you need to go. So there's the whole thing around investing in the horse or the jockey, and most people would argue the jockey is the most important. But again, it depends on what you're building, but most people will go with the jockey. The other thing I'll say is actually when you're talking to investors, you want to make sure there's actually a right fit. You want to do your research, make sure you're talking to an investor that invests in companies at your stage, your industry, and even potentially your region. And so you want to make sure it's a good match. You don't want to just blindly send your information to investors. So you've got to do your homework and make sure that you're talking to the right individuals. So I'll leave it at that. There's more to say, but I just want to throw some high level stuff up there right now.
Thank you very much, Jason. Vandana, to you. I mean, you've worked with and made investments over 150 companies, as we spoke about yesterday on VCTV. I'm sure you've seen many more that just didn't make it to their full fundraising. What were some of those reasons and some of those insights that you may have learned over time as to why that wasn't possible for them to hit those milestones?
Thank you, Kyle. There are lots of reasons actually. One is not having a proper pitch deck in order. Get your pitch deck done by a professional. They know how to do the pitch decks in the right manner, because investors don't spend more than 90 seconds on a deck. Having a video pitch deck always helps, and that is trending in the market right now. Also, having a complementary team, having a proper marketing team, having a proper financial team that complements each other, an operational team really helps you get the fundraise. If you don't have that, then there's a lot of chance for you to fail. Also, not having a CFO and advisor on board. There are many times people fail because they don't know how to manage the money. They don't know how to manage a lot of financial activities. They don't know how to vet their business plans by showing it to the right kind of advisors and mentors as well. Asking for too much valuation. Once again, we had a few failures wherein one of our clients had got 3 term sheets from different funds, and there was a problem with his DD, and we asked him to correct it, but he didn't, and that's when all the funds backed out. So that was one reason why startups fail. The other reason is using the money for burning. There was a founder that bought a car, and the other founder treated cancer. So the money of the investors, also the hard-earned money, it is not for burning it and using it for personal requirements. So all these things add up to why startups fail. Also, not being able to pivot at the right time. Basically, not being humble and not being able to pivot, doing something which is continuously giving you failure. So I think these are some of the factors why startups fail drastically, and one needs to pay attention to these nitty-gritty details. Also, not reaching to the right kind of investors. Startups are reaching, if it's a food startup, they are reaching to a technology investor. If it's a health startup, they are reaching to a food investor. So not having looked at their thesis, not studying their website properly, doing a lot of cold calling, not reaching to the right kind of investment bankers who have the right kind of relationships with these funds. So all these factors lead to failure actually.
Thank you very much, Vandana. Wendy, anything to add additionally on top of that, furthermore, as to why some of the companies you've seen or worked with, or again, just industry-wise, may have not been able to raise that capital milestone they're looking for?
Well, absolutely, pretty much everything Jason and Vandana said. But as I look back at some of the companies that I've invested in that didn't make it, and also, working on things that I personally have gotten involved with, it's all about the team. The team is everything, and finding the right people. You absolutely need, your tech lead. If it's a tech company, you need your operations team. So I think it's really about the team and about having that really, resilient team that can figure out ways to maneuver, et cetera, because it's not easy for a startup. And it's all about like who's on your team to make this happen. So I'm just going to say that Jason, Jacob and Defa, Jason, and Vandana really said it right. And I think all of the above. But the most important thing is the team, because and the companies that I've invested in, you've got to know what these people are doing after you have dinner with them. You know what I mean? And it's just like, where are they? And do they have high integrity? Because integrity is everything to have a successful startup.
Absolutely. The team. I couldn't agree more. Devang, anything else to add on that furthermore as well?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was covered, but I think the team, going back to the team, I think some key ingredients need to be in place, at least one tech and one business person. So, we don't like teams that have, a founding CEO that hired a CTO or CIO, or a tech founder that hired a head of marketing. It's the moment you have a hired hand at the C level, there's some misaligned incentives, basically. Why you don't get funded, it's a broader question. I mean, it's a function of how well networked you are, really. Ideally you'd be in Silicon Valley, you're a Stanford grad, you just walk over to Menlo Park and there's 25 VCs to approach. But in the absence of that, how strong are your alumni relationships, your corporate relationships, how well are you network within the broad VC and startup industry, because getting funded is a function of getting meetings, and getting meetings is a function of getting first conversations, and getting first conversations is a function of how many vetted VCs that you actually approach with a good business plan. So, if you apply that step function, it's just how well networked you are. Network is net worth. And, how strong your network is really important to getting those initial meetings that in turn lead to funding events.
Absolutely. And with that, I thank you all very much for today's insights. I want to be conscious of time as we are close to the top of the hour for today's discussion. So coming around for closing thoughts, any advice that you would have for those looking to go out for their fundraise now here in 2021, where there's more opportunities to fundraise, more platforms to look at, more areas not only to, again, access that capital, but also potential more mistakes that can be made in that fundraising process because things are so wide versus very narrow in terms of kind of what Devang was mentioning in a more locational based situation. So advice that you have for founders out there, and then where can you be found online to continue the discussion? Jason, let's kick it off with you.
Yeah, as mentioned before, do your research, make sure you understand, who you should be talking to and if it fits with what your stage or your industry is in. Also, leverage your network. While there are all these there's platforms out there, many of the best opportunities still come from good old-fashioned networks. So find people to talk to that have access to investors. Build up your network with some super connectors to find those other investors. So take the time to nurture and build new relationships. That's a key to raising some capital. For those that want to learn more or contact me, you can find me at propellant.vc, LinkedIn, as well as email me at jason@propellant.vc. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Jason. Vandana.
Basically, it is very important to get your business plan vetted by a mentor before you reach out to the investors. Also, reaching to the right kind of investment bankers who have right relationships with the funds, getting your pitch deck done by professionals, and having a positive approach. So my message here is please do read the book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Stay positive always, because a positive mind keeps the mind in center and leads you to the right direction. And I could be reached out on my LinkedIn handle and also on my website, www.convanto.com, and happy to assist you if you have any queries. Thank you for having me here.
Wonderful. Thank you. Devang.
Sure. I think, sorry, what was the question again?
Closing thoughts and advice
Oh, yeah.
for founders, and where
Yeah,
can
sorry.
you be found online? It's okay.
Right. I can be found on LinkedIn, Devang Mehta, Anthill Ventures. So I'm very active on LinkedIn, and I'm easily reachable there. In terms of closing thoughts, I think, I think just to reiterate more of what I said and what people have said, I think if it depends on what phase you are in your, startup growth evolution. I think it really helps if you manage to get into a premier accelerator like Y Combinator. I think your chances of getting funded grow exponentially if you make it to a premier accelerator like that. Aside from that, leverage everyone alums, neighbor, uncle, aunt, people you work with, people you play tennis with. Make sure the VCs are investing in the industry you're in. So don't spray and pray. Just don't send your business plans to 2,000 people and play the probability game. That doesn't work. It's best to have a targeted list of investors that you send your plan to, and set up genuine meetings. And I think remember your business plan, as Vandana mentioned and others did also. It's really important. I think simple stylistic elements. Don't write too much. Don't have gaudy pictures. I mean, these things seem obvious, but we still see these bad plans all the time. This is your one chance. 10 slides, 12 slides. Don't make it more. Don't make it 45 slides. 12 key crisp slides, and the rest have to be in the appendix to answer questions. Not too much text, and make sure you have the key elements in place. What the funding is, how much are you raising, what the funding is going to be used for, the use of proceeds, who your competitors are. Make sure you're addressing a sizable market. Don't say you're in a 50 million market and you hope to get 80% of it to become a 40 million company. You should be in a addressable market of $1 billion plus and aspire to get a small chunk of it. So things like that, if you articulate that well, it'll greatly improve your chances.
Thank you very much. And Wendy, close us out on the same question and where you can be found.
So just to repeat, team. And if you don't have the team, get advisors. So kind of talk about what Devang said about the pitch deck. If you have the right advisor, they're going to teach you and tell you all of this stuff. So really, build the right team, get that business person, operations person, get that tech lead, but also most important, bring a great advisory team together that are just high integrity, that are going to help you and guide you throughout the whole way. I'm Wendy Diamond. You can go to wendydiamond.com to find all my social media and all the companies and funds that I'm invested in. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you all very much as well for sharing your thoughts and insights on today's topic. And also a big shout out again to NFT Swaps for their presentation, to each and every one of us as well. To our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, make sure you click subscribe, like, and share today's episode. And to hear from more of our speakers today and the entire speakers of the VCDD family, do check us out on thetoken.com as well. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. Do reach out to each and every one of us. We'd love to hear what you're working on the respective social media networks that were shouted out. Please do add context, where you heard us, where you met us, and what you would like to continue the conversation about. Big thank you to the Token team, to Maria and Hasmik for making today's episode possible. Until tomorrow, everyone have a wonderful day. Take care.